Bill Spencer paced like a caged lion, his silk tie loosened and his jaw set in that familiar mix of determination and defiance. Katie Logan stood by the grand piano, her arms crossed over her cream-colored blouse, watching him with eyes that held both affection and exasperation, the kind only an ex-wife could muster after years of his grand gestures and broken promises. Will Spencer, their son, sat slumped on the leather sofa, his young face pale and drawn, the weight of the morning's paternity test results still hanging heavy in the air like a storm cloud that refused to break. "Dad, this can't be happening," Will muttered, running a hand through his disheveled hair, his voice cracking with the raw edge of betrayal. "Luna, she drugged me, she lied, she destroyed everything with Electra. And now this baby. It's like a curse I can't escape." Bill stopped pacing and placed a firm hand on his son's shoulder, his blue eyes flashing with the unyielding Spencer resolve. "Listen to me, Will. This isn't a curse, it's a challenge, and Spencers don't back down from challenges. That baby's got Spencer blood, whether you like how it got there or not. Katie and we're going to handle this. Custody. It's ours. Done deal." Katie's lips pressed into a thin line as she stepped forward, her heels clicking softly on the marble floor, the scent of her Chanel perfume cutting through the tension like a sharp reminder of stability amid chaos. She had always been the anchor in Bill's stormy sea, the one who pieced together the fragments after his impulsive decisions left wreckage in their wake. But today, with the news of Luna Nozawa's pregnancy confirmed by Bridget Forrester's unerring medical precision, even Katie felt the ground shifting beneath her. "Bill, nothing's a done deal when it comes to Luna," she said softly, her voice steady but laced with caution, the way it always was when she was talking him off a ledge. "That girl's a ticking time bomb, murders, kidnappings, forged tests. She held Steffi hostage in a cage, for God's sake. And now she's carrying Will's child? The courts won't just hand it over because we flash our last name and a checkbook." Bill waved a hand dismissively, striding to the bar cart to pour himself a scotch, the ice clinking like tiny accusations in the crystal tumbler. "Courts. Katie, I've got judges in my back pocket from here to Sacramento. Poppy's scheming, Lee's meddling, but they'll crumble. I promise you, this kid's staying right here, under our roof, safe from that Nozawa madness. Will you focus on Electra, win her back? Let us clean up this mess." The door to the mansion swung open with a dramatic whoosh, and in swept Poppy Nozawa, her flowing bohemian skirts swirling like a whirlwind of misplaced optimism, her eyes wide and pleading as she clutched a worn leather satchel that probably held more secrets than a Forrester board meeting. She had driven from her modest beachside apartment in a frenzy, her mind racing with visions of Luna behind bars, her daughter, her only daughter, facing a future without the child she so desperately wanted. "Bill. Katie. Please, you have to listen to me," Poppy gasped, breathless from the sprint up the driveway, her silver bracelets jangling like alarm bells. "Luna's innocent in this, well, not entirely, but the baby. That's family. My grandchild. You can't just swoop in and take it like it's some corporate takeover." Bill set his glass down with a thud that echoed through the room, turning to face her with the full force of his imposing frame, his voice dropping to that gravelly timbre that made lesser souls quiver. "Innocent. Poppy, your little angel drugged my son, faked being my daughter, and left a trail of bodies from Il Giardino to the Forrester basement. That baby's a Spencer by blood, sure, but by upbringing. It's mine and Katie's to protect. You want to fight for it? Bring it on, I'll bury you in legal fees before breakfast." Katie moved between them like a referee in a powder keg, her hand gently but firmly on Poppy's arm, guiding her toward the sofa where Will still sat, staring at the floor as if it held answers to his unraveling life. "Poppy, sit. Breathe. No one's burying anyone yet," Katie urged, her tone softening into the maternal warmth that had always disarmed even the most fractious Logans. "We all want what's best for this child. Luna's in custody, Will's traumatized, hell, the whole family's traumatized. but ripping it away from its mother without cause. That's not how we do things, Bill. She shot her ex a pointed look, the kind that said she'd stand by him but not blindly. Poppy sank onto the cushions, her eyes darting to Will, who finally lifted his gaze, his expression a mix of anger and pity that twisted her heart. Will, honey, Luna, she loves you. Twisted, yes, but real. She thought the baby would bind you, make a family out of the ashes. I know I messed up raising her, too free-spirited, too detached, but give her a chance to make it right from behind bars. Shared custody, maybe. I could help, step up like I never did for her. Will shook his head vehemently, his fists clenching in his lap, the memory of that drugged night flashing behind his eyes like a nightmare on repeat, the haze, the betrayal, Electra's tear-streaked face when she learned the truth. Love? That's not love, Poppy. That's obsession. She assaulted me, lied to everyone, and now I get to play reluctant dad to her revenge fantasy. No. If anyone's raising that kid, it's people who won't turn it into a weapon. Bill nodded approvingly, clapping his son on the back again, his pride swelling like a tide he couldn't hold back. That's my boy. See, Katie. Unity. This is bringing us together, me, you, Will. Like old times, but better. No more Brooke drama, no more Forrester interference. Just us, building a future for this little Spencer. He pulled Katie close then, his arm around her waist in a possessive embrace that spoke of second chances and unspoken yearnings, his breath warm against her ear as he whispered, I promise, Katie. I'll make this right. The lawyers are on speed dial, by week's end, we'll have a judge eating out of our hands. That baby won't know a world without Spencer's calling the shots. But across town, in the stark fluorescent-lit interrogation room of the LAPD station, Luna Nozawa huddled in an orange jumpsuit that clashed violently with her pale skin and tangled dark hair, her hands cuffed to the metal table as Deputy Chief Bradley Baker loomed over her, his notepad flipped open like a judgment ledger. The air smelled of stale coffee and desperation, the only sound the distant hum of fluorescent bulbs and the occasional slam of a cell door down the hall. Luna's eyes, red-rimmed from tears she refused to let fall fully, fixed on Baker with a defiant spark that belied her circumstances, the same spark that had driven her to swap paternity tests and spiked drinks in pursuit of a dream that now felt like a noose.
Chief, please, she pleaded, her voice a fragile thread woven with urgency, leaning as far forward as the restraints allowed. This baby, it's Will's confirmed. A Spencer heir. Bill won't let you keep me here. He'll post bail, pull strings. You know, he pardoned me once before. What's one more favor for family? Baker sighed, rubbing the bridge of his nose, the lines etched deeper by years of navigating the elite tangles of Los Angeles's most notorious clans, the Forresters with their couture cover-ups, the Logans with their endless heartaches, and now the Spencers with their bottomless coffers and iron wills. He had seen Bill Spencer's influence firsthand, the way a single phone call could unravel indictments like cheap thread. But this? Luna's rap sheet read like a soap opera script gone fatally wrong. Double homicide at Isle Giardino, attempted murder of Steffi Forrester, hostage-taking in a basement cage that still gave him nightmares. Luna, pardons don't erase patterns, he replied evenly, his tone measured like a man walking a tightrope over a volcano. Bill might have wiped the slate once, thinking you were his kid, but now? Paternity's one thing. Protecting a child from its mother's vendettas is another. Katie Logan's already lawyered up, talking full custody. And with your history, Judge might not even let you see daylight till after the birth, if then. Luna's laugh was bitter, echoing off the cinder block walls like shattered glass, her mind flashing to the mansion, to Bill's reassuring smiles that had once made her feel like she belonged. Full custody? That's rich. Katie hates me. Thinks I'm trash, a threat to her precious Will. But this baby? It's leverage. Tell Bill I need him. Tell him I'll reform, go to therapy, whatever. Just don't let them steal my child. Baker closed his notepad with a snap, standing to signal the end of the visit. But not before a flicker of sympathy crossed his weathered face, the father in him warring with the cop. Leverage is what got you here, kid. Bill's promises are gold-plated, but they tarnish fast when family's on the line. Sit tight, your lawyer's en route. But if I were you, I'd pray for a miracle, not a Spencer bailout. As the door clanged shut behind him, Luna slumped back, her hand instinctively cradling the slight swell of her belly, whispering to the unborn life inside, "Hang on, little one. Mommy's fighting. We won't let them win." Back at the mansion, the afternoon sun had dipped lower, casting long shadows across the Persian rugs as Katie excused herself to the kitchen, her phone buzzing insistently with texts from Brooke, updates on Steffi's recovery, warnings about Luna's unhinged family tree. She poured a glass of white wine, the cool liquid steadying her nerves as she leaned against the granite island, replaying Bill's bold vow in her mind. He always did this, charged in like a bull, promising the moon, only for reality to clip his wings. Their marriage had crumbled under similar weight, his affair with Brooke, the endless boardroom battles, the way he'd prioritize empire over hearth. Yet here she was, heart tugging toward him again, drawn by the silver lining of this nightmare. A grandchild, a chance to heal Will's wounds by raising it right. "You really think we can pull this off?" she asked when Bill wandered in, his presence filling the space like a magnetic force, his fingers brushing hers as he took the glass from her hand for a sip. Bill set the wine down and cupped her face gently, his thumbs tracing the faint lines of worry at her temples, the intimacy of the gesture pulling her back to stolen weekends in Aspen, lazy mornings tangled in Egyptian cotton. "Katie, I've faced down media moguls, hostile takeovers, even your brother's fists. A custody case? Child's play. I've got Justin on it, best shark in the pond. We'll paint Luna as unstable, highlight the drugging, the violence. The judge sees Spencer's stability, big house, private schools, nannies on call. And us co-parenting like pros." Katie searched his eyes, seeing the flicker of genuine fear beneath the bravado, the man who had lost her once and dreaded losing this shot at redemption. "Co-parenting? Bill, that's code for us pretending we're not still in love. We'll seize it, you know. This baby's forcing our hand. Either we reunite for real, or we fake it till the kid's in college." He leaned in, his lips brushing hers in a kiss that started tentative and deepened into something hungry, years of what-ifs igniting like dry tinder. "Then let's not fake it. Marry me again, Katie. Let this be our do-over. I promise. No more detours, no more secrets. Just you, me, Will, and this little fighter on the way." Their moment shattered as the front door burst open again, this time admittingly Finnegan, her white coat still buttoned from a long shift at the hospital, her dark hair pulled into a severe bun that matched the steel in her gaze. Lee had no patience for Spencer theatrics. As Finn's mother and a woman who had clashed with Poppy's freewheeling ways for years, she saw Luna's pregnancy as a familial infestation, a Nozawa virus threatening the Forrester-Finnegan immune system. "Bill, Katie, enough love fest," she barked, striding in without invitation, her heels stabbing the floor like declarations of war. "I just came from the station." Luna's ranting about rights, about Bill's paternal duty. "And Poppy? She's filing papers for visitation, claiming grandmother privileges. You two think you can waltz into court with your billions and win? Luna's my niece by marriage. Twisted, yes, but blood's blood. If anyone's influencing that child's upbringing, it's me. Structure, discipline. No more of Poppy's hippie nonsense." Bill disentangled from Katie with a reluctant sigh, facing Lee like a general squaring off against an equal, his arms folding across his chest in a barrier of broad shoulders and unyielding will. "Lee, always the white knight. Your structure didn't stop Luna from turning Steffi into a human cage match. This isn't your circus anymore. It's Spencer territory. Poppy's got no claim. She's the one who raised a sociopath on essential oils and bad advice. Back off, or I'll make sure Finn hears every detail of how you covered for her hits." Katie stepped forward, ever the diplomat, her hand on Lee's arm in a gesture of sisterly solidarity amid the feud. "Lee, please. We're all raw here. Steffi's alive because of quick thinking, but Luna's crimes, they're unforgivable. The baby's innocent, though. If we fight like this, it ends up in foster care roulette. Help us. Testify to her instability. For the child's sake." Lee's expression softened fractionally, the doctor in her yielding to the aunt who had failed to see the darkness brewing. For the child, fine. But if Bill's promises go south again, and they always do, I'm coming for guardianship myself. No one destroys another family on my watch. As evening fell, the mansion's lights twinkled like distant stars against the encroaching dusk, and Will slipped out to the poolside patio, the water's surface rippling gently under the outdoor lamps, a serene contrast to the turmoil indoors. Electra Forrester had texted him earlier, terse words of lingering hurt, but laced with the fragile hope of reconciliation, and he clutched his phone like a lifeline, dialing her number with trembling fingers. "Electra, it's me," he said when she answered, her voice a cautious whisper on the line, the sound of ocean waves in the background suggesting she was at the Forrester estate, seeking solace in the familiar crash of Malibu surf. "I know I screwed up that night. Luna's lies. But Dad and Mom, they're taking the baby. Custody battle's on, and I swear, it'll never touch us. Come back, please. We can start over, no shadows." Electra's pause stretched like an eternity, her breath hitching with the pain of trust fractured but not fully broken. "Will, your family's a hurricane. Luna's in jail, pregnant with your kid, and Bill's promising miracles? I've seen those promises. Ridge makes them too, and look where it lands us. But I miss you. The real you, not this mess. Give me time. And tell your dad hubris isn't armor." Inside, Bill overheard the tail end of the call from the doorway, his heart aching for his son's vulnerability, the boy he had raised to conquer now felled by love's cruel twists. He rejoined Katie in the study, where she pored over custody precedents on her laptop, the glow illuminating her determined profile. "Will's fighting for normal," he said quietly, sinking into the armchair beside her, his hand finding hers across the desk. "Like we used to. Katie, this promise, it's not empty. I'll testify, expose Luna's deceptions, even if it means admitting I fell for her con. The judge sees a united front, devoted grandparents, stable home. No prison-born delivery, no Nozawa interference. I swear on my life, this kid's ours." Katie closed the laptop, turning to him with eyes that mirrored his own resolve, tempered by the wisdom of scars. "Swear on more than that, Bill. Swear on us. Because if this dooms us again, another lost year, another courtroom circus, I'm out. But if we win, maybe, just maybe, we rewrite our story too." Meanwhile, deep in the underbelly of the city, Poppy met with a shady attorney in a dimly lit diner off Sunset Boulevard, the vinyl booths cracked and sticky, the air thick with grease and whispered deals. Her satchels spilled documents, affidavits from old acquaintances painting Luna as misunderstood, medical reports emphasizing the pregnancy's risks in custody. "Make it ironclad," she hissed to the lawyer, a weaselly man named Hargrove with a penchant for under-the-table wins. "Bill thinks he's untouchable, but I've got dirt. His pardons, his soft spot for strays. Push for joint custody. I'll leverage it to worm back in for Luna, for the baby, for me." Hargrove nodded, pocketing her retainer with a sly grin, his voice a oily murmur. "Spencers bleed money, but they bruise easy. One leaked tape of Bill's leniency, and the judge flips. But lady promises like yours? They bounce like bad checks." The night wore on, and in her cell, Luna dreamed of escape, of Bill's arms pulling her from the brink, of Will's reluctant smile at their child's first cry, of a family forged not in blood but in unbreakable will. But dawn brought reality, a court date looming, Bill's confidence teetering on the edge of hubris, and a promise that, like so many in the glittering cage of Los Angeles, might shatter under the weight of truth. Katie tossed in bed beside Bill, his snores a rhythmic reminder of the man she loved and feared, whispering to the ceiling, "Please, God, let this be the win that heals us all." Yet in the shadows of the Spencer empire, the bold moves were just beginning, and the beautiful illusions hung by a thread finer than silk.